Sean Strickland was sending me pictures of his toes during UFC 300.
Here's the thing, you guys.
Hello, and welcome to the Sports Bimbo Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Stella K.
And I'm Nia Chai.
So anyway, I don't know if he was actually sending me his toes, but I was watching UFC 300, and I did receive a picture of Sean Strickland's toes. They were in the picture.
It was the focal point of the picture, arguably.
You saw the picture. I don't know if the picture was intended to be toes, but I just feel like the toes, I feel bad for saying this, but I've said it to his face, so I'm just going to say it. The toes were so atrocious. Like, they were so unbelievable. That was what my eye was drawn to, these like caveman seashell toenails. I hope he never hears this.
Listen, nothing against him, because all men's toes, for the most part, are fucking disgusting, and it has nothing to do with the hygiene. They're just so caveman.
And fighters, they're on the mat, out on the mats, they're rolling around, they do jiu-jitsu, they have fungus, they have, I forget what it's called, like, there's some sort of like...
French foot.
Yeah, like mat fungus.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. Like, he would probably think that's manly. He'd be like, I'm not going to get a pedicure, you know, like...
I need that fungus. It helps me fight.
Anyone that doesn't have toe fungus isn't a real man. Here's the thing, guys.
So here's the thing, guys.
So I did receive a photograph during UFC 300 from I would say we're friends, but I don't know if he would say that, because he makes a big claim that men and women aren't friends or something. So it's very much like, to quote Dana White, we were never friends.
We were never friends. He was never my friend. Sean Strickland was never my friend. Sean needs to learn a thing or two about being a friend.
Exactly. We were never friends, but I received a picture during UFC 300, which I was watching the fight, and everyone I knew was watching the fight. And based on the location of his photograph, it was very clear that he was not watching the fight.
Okay, here's another thing. Sean Strickland did not watch UFC 300 while it was live.
He's probably the only only person on the planet. Like, my casualest of casual friends were watching UFC 300. Mm-hmm. Sean Strickland and his toes were definitely not there. They weren't watching.
His toes were not in attendance.
I received a picture that felt as if it had entirely no context. And the caption said, "Only when I'm fight."
Only when I'm fight.
This is how I perceived it. I'm not saying this is the reality. This is how I perceived it. Toes, picture of toes, only when I'm fight. And
that's it. That's the only context she received.
I had no answers. Only when I'm fight and toes. And it was like a big Scooby-Doo mystery to me. I was like, it was keeping me up at night. I'm like laying in bed, like, what was the toes about? So I did hear back from him the next day, because I was like, well, I think my response was, these toes are unbelievable.
He would have taken that in the best way possible, but we did not mean it like that. My toes are unbelievable.
I couldn't believe my eyes.
Onlytoes.com/Sean Strickland.
They were gray, like slate gray.
Stop. I told you he had trench foot. Those things are rotting off tomorrow.
He had like moss.
He's growing his own ecosystem of moss.
I think there was like barnacles underneath them. Like,
absolutely.
It was like the bottom of a ship. Like, if you see, like,
he is a shipwreck. That checks out.
So yeah, I did respond. I said, these toes are unbelievable. And but his dog was in the photo. He has a new dog.
Little baby. Which, wasn't he just bashing on Dave Portnoy for having Miss Peaches?
I was just going to say, I think he owes Miss Peaches an apology.
Say sorry to Miss Peaches right now, Sean Strickland.
Here's the thing, guys.
And
I would say he owes Dave Portnoy an apology, but like, who cares?
Dave Portnoy does not give a fuck. He is eating pizza right now as we speak.
With Miss Peaches.
And she is also...
But I saw some tweet. I don't follow Sean on Twitter, on social media.
I know why. I know why you would.
I just can't. I don't want to see it. I'm like, it's too crazy.
Yeah.
I like Ryan Garcia.
He's a mild Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, like if you talk to him or even see him talking like after a fight, you're like, wow, this guy's great. Mm-hmm. If I were to only know him of his tweets, I would be so disturbed.
We would be friends.
No, I don't think we would ever be. He was never my friend, but
stop saying he was never my friend.
Maybe we'll be friends someday. But I did see a tweet. It was on my For You page, and it was some kind of rant where he was like, people who act like their dogs are their children, like they're fucked up. And my girlfriend was showing me Dave Portnoy and his content with Miss Peaches. And I just think if you act like that with your pet, you're not a real man. Like a real man would have a kid. And it was like this whole rant that like, if you treat your dog really well in place of a child, you're not a real man.
A real man would have a kid, he said, instead of a dog.
Yes.
What is he implying with that? That they shouldn't be putting effort into an animal when you should be putting it into a child. I think that's apples to oranges. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of projection. But then very shortly after, it felt like 2 days later, he popped up with a dog. And now all his content is dogs. And then I got this picture, which it truly wasn't about the toes. I ended up finding out because he did respond a day later after creating the Scooby-Doo mystery.
You actually said it in the beginning when you showed it to me. You were like, I think this might be about the dog. So
yeah, but it was just, I created the focal point of the toes.
Unbelievable toes at that.
I pay attention to details. So if you notice, like
if you notice barnacles, you cannot not say something about the barnacles.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh yeah, I guess there was a dog in the background. Like,
yes,
and I was like,
suppose.
P.S. The dog is cute. Mm-hmm. So the photo was about the dog. Mm-hmm. So that's very sweet and very kind. And I feel so poorly that I'm an evil person that I just trashed this nice man's toes for 20 minutes. But to be fair, he's done way worse on social media.
Yeah.
Their gender and mankind.
It's karma. Let's weigh them. Hey, women, you have barnacle toes.
I think he'll be all right. I think a real man,
a real man
would accept my criticism of the toe. So he'll be fine. He's a man. He's manly.
He can't accept criticism about his toes.
I mean, he's not soft. He'll handle the toes.
No, he's not soft at all.
But
he has a dog now, so he should be putting that effort into a kid. He's soft and he's not a man.
Yeah. So what happened between the day that he went on the rant,
the 24 hours in between the rant and then adopting the dog?
He had a dog. I think it's what I told you before. Like sometimes I look at if I'm jealous of someone, and instead of just feeding into that or dwelling on that, I'm like,
wait, self-reflect.
I self-reflect. Do they have something that I want, and how can I achieve that for myself instead of feeling this useless emotion of jealousy?
Absolutely useless emotion. Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Yeah.
How I transmute
get to the bottom of it.
But maybe Sean doesn't do that. Maybe he just felt something and made him feel some emotion. He said, man, feel emotion, don't like. and then somehow along the way, maybe his girlfriend led him to a dog, and he said, yeah.
It sounds like that's what she was doing, because she was showing him Dave Portnoy and Miss Peaches, and she was probably like, look at this, wouldn't you love if we had one?
He seems like I think he seems like a really good dog dad. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I'm really proud of him. I did ask him to show us the dog on the podcast. I was like, please come on the podcast. I promise, no controversy, no hard-hitting questions. I just want to see the dog.
Sean Strickland, bring your doggy on the podcast.
Show us on Zoom.
Kiss it hard.
I said, give me 30 seconds. First of all, I will get 500 clout droplets from that, and I need them. This is a new podcast. Just come on the Zoom, say, this is the dog, Harley, and we'll say, aww.
And then we'll say, bye, Sean Strickland. Here's the thing, you guys.
Okay. Sorry about your toes.
Sorry about the toes. There's nothing wrong with them. They just don't look good.
I hope you win all your... I mean, I would recommend a pedicure, but I just know that he wouldn't. He's too manly.
That is... even the guys who I've talked to who are less... I don't want to say toxic masculinity, but...
What do we call it? Machismo?
That's what we'll call it. Yeah. We'll call it that. Yeah. Even the men who are not as super into that as Sean Strickland is, and they don't preach machismo as much, they are still like, no pedicures, that's gay, I can't do that, I'm a straight man. So I can understand, no diddy. So I can understand why Sean Strickland would say, I'm not having some girl pamper my feet. You know what? Totally fine.
I like a masculine man. I do.
I like when they're secure in their masculinity, so I don't mind pedicures. You can get your nails done too. Just a clear coat.
I know you might maybe not identify as a feminist, but I do use that term, and I think that as a feminist, it is my right to choose. And for only myself, I don't think it's across the board. I like gender roles.
I love gender roles.
I'm so glad you said that. That's always like, it's something that we agree on about using different terms, right?
Using different terms. Well, so I say, this is a good topic, honestly. It's pretty, it's topical for sure, especially with Sean Strickland. Gender roles, I absolutely love. I think they're important to society. And then as far as feminism goes, that was not a headline that I came up with. Somebody else came up with that. But I definitely don't identify with modern feminism only because of what you just said. You said, I'm a feminism because I believe in the choice. And a lot of the modern feminists that I have had this discussion with say modern feminism is not about having the choice. It's simply about women's liberation. We still have the right to bash women who are making the rest of us look bad. And if we don't like their decisions, we have the right to call them out on it and make sure that they're not setting us back 10 years. But feminism at its basis is a very wonderful thing. I'm glad that we can wear pants and have bank accounts. Duh!
And credit cards.
And credit cards, and that we can be doing
So I'm the type of person that I don't think that my personal choice is, like Sean Strickland, I would say, the way he views the world is that he thinks that his opinions should apply to everyone.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good way to live for anybody, though.
And that's not how I am about it. So I do identify as a feminist socially, but I personally, and I think that people don't even have to believe in gender if that's what they want. But me personally, I like it for myself. And I identify primarily as being heterosexual, and I like a masculine man. That all being said, go get a pedicure. Please take care of yourself. It's just basic grooming.
It is basic grooming, but they don't see it like that. Speaking on that, though, Sean Strickland and gender roles, do you know what he thinks of it? Like, obviously, he talks about it a lot on social media, but I don't really pay attention to his Twitter either or anything, so I don't even know all these little hard-hitting tidbits that he's throwing out there.
Well, I know he says that women shouldn't be in the workforce.
That is about as gender role-y as it could possibly get, right?
Yeah.
What does he believe for men, that they should just be cavemen? And does he talk about providing ever? Because it sounds like he wants women to stay home, but
I wish he would come tell us. I told him
that's a good conversation.
I told him he can take me out of the workforce, just send me some money and I will not work at all today.
Sounds wonderful. I would love to know. I feel like that's a good topic that he'd love to talk about.
I know he needs to come on, but coming up, he is fighting Paulo Costa at UFC 302. It's on June 1st.
302 is stacked. An incredible card, just a random card, incredible. I feel like UFC is, not that it hasn't peaked before, but it's peaking again right now. This is crazy. The next few fights, the one that we just had.
Yeah, so many exciting things going on. So they're the co-main, and then also the main event, Makhachev versus Poirier. Like, hello. That's huge. And even in the undercard, they announced Bo Nickel has a fight.
Who is Bone Nickel?
Bone Nickel?
Who the fuck is Bone Nickel? What is Bone Nickel?
So I pay attention to prospects. So I knew who Bo Nickel was, like Dana White Contender Series. I knew who he was as like a collegiate wrestler. Like he's an amazing wrestler.
I like him a lot.
He's so good.
He's good. I really like him.
He is so good. So I was excited back when he was a prospect. Couldn't wait for him to debut. Great fights, short fights.
That's a great fight to me. Anything that's short, I'm loving it.
I mean, I like a really long fight if it's really competitive.
Absolutely.
I don't like a slow moving fight.
No, but anything that is knockout or knockout adjacent, I'm there. I think everybody's that way though. We love that.
Yeah, there was a fight. I think it was Sean Strickland and Jared Cannonier, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. And I remember Dominic Cruz on the commentary said, Sean Strickland is fighting in economy mode, which is like the car when you're like saving the gas, right?
Right.
I don't like the fights in the car.
Well, if he's winning, what does it matter?
It doesn't have to be fast, but just when it's like competitive, all the rounds feel very competitive and not that two people are avoiding each other. You know what I'm saying?
Would you compare that to the Alex Pereira fight we just saw at 300? Because he didn't break a sweat. Is that economy mode?
No, I don't think
Yeah, he wasn't. He was
just like so good.
He was just so good. Yeah. But Sean Strickland, I feel like if he's winning, what does it matter?
Well, he lost that fight.
Oh, you're talking about that specific
Jared
fight.
Cannonier. Yes, it was this specific fight that he was on economy mode. I feel like he's improved since then. He's out of economy mode. Mm-hmm. But that is an example of like, I think a slower fight. Not that it was a bad fight. It was a decent fight to watch, but
I enjoyed it. At the time, I was actually already a Sean Strickland fan, so I wanted him to win.
So he is the co-main with Paulo Costa. They've had a lot of back and forth on, it's so hard to call it X, Twitter.
I cannot call it X. We're calling it Twitter.
Sorry, Elon. The rebrand is not working.
It's not working for me. Maybe in another decade.
Yeah. So on Twitter, Paulo and Sean have been going back and forth a little. So it's fun to see the like fight come to fruition. Mm-hmm. And I really noticed on the fight graphic, for some reason, I don't know how it escaped me, but Costa is a wood.
What does that mean?
Like I would.
Oh, Oh, well, would.
Smash.
I would. Yeah, I hear ya. So see, you're opening my eyes to these fighters where I think of fighters as sexless creatures. They have no dicks. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Censor that, I guess.
I don't think they will like you saying that they have no dick.
Oh, but I'm saying in my head, they have no dicks. They're sexless creatures. They're fighters. I don't think of them as dudes who are going home and banging women.
In fight, I don't think of that stuff. I very much like separate it. Like I know the guys don't, because even the guys who are serious fight fans, I see their tweets and it's a women's match. They don't care that much about women's fighting, and they'll be like, "Oh, that jiggle on that takedown." I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
I don't perceive it like that when I'm watching. So it takes me a long time. Like I've been watching fights for a while, and I just started noticing, maybe because I am studying so much everything. I think it's out of the fight though. It's like in the press conference or in an interview or on a match graphic. I'm like, hold up.
I don't think that while I'm watching a fight, and especially after 300, we noticed so many dudes just objectifying the women fighters in a way that I didn't notice before. I have like 3 different memes that I could show you about men who are posting about, oh my god, look at this fighter.
Yeah, so I don't know if we should start objectifying the men just to even it out.
Right, let's even it out. We're gonna start objectifying the male fighters for equality.
Yeah, why not? Why not? You know, I'm starting to notice, maybe I'm just like feral lately because I've been single for so long, but I've just started to notice like, oh wait, hold on, you're cute, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, not always the greatest people in the world. Sometimes these guys seem like, you know, not boyfriend material. So it doesn't go beyond that for me and my interest, because I'm not into like hookup culture or anything like that.
Just face value.
It's just like, yeah, okay, you're handsome. Like, you know, it's a hypothetical would, but the reality would be like, would if I met you and you were single and you were a nice person and you treated me right. You're like, there's so many variables.
We can take everything just for attractiveness sake. Like Paulo Costa, he has a great physique.
Yeah,
Alex Pereira has a great physique. They have pretty faces.
Yeah, these guys.
Ryan Garcia, they all actually look a little bit similar with the jawlines and the cheekbones that they have.
Israel Adesanya has like a model face, and I think
he's beautiful.
He did like fashion modeling at some
He looks like a Vogue model, actually.
Yeah, he's got like crazy cheekbones, like really striking, beautiful features. Like
that's what you like. You like nice bone structure in a man's face. I'm realizing that now. They all have that in common. Okay, you've not dated a heavyweight then.
Yeah, so really exciting times coming up on June 1st. And before they announced all that, I actually thought that you and I would be going to see Nate Diaz versus Masvidal. They have this new boxing, I don't know if it's like a promotion that sprung up through Fan Mio. I kind of started noticing it on socials out of nowhere, and I don't know if Nate Diaz has like created his own promotion. I don't really know the backstory of who they're fighting through.
He's trying to come back from his devastating loss to Jake Paul.
I also wondered that, or I wondered, did they get inspired? They're like, hey, this white boy's really getting his bag on there.
Yeah, it could be.
Like, we could do that too. And then like now him and Masvidal, they did like a tour of face-offs. It's just like, but the funny thing is, if you saw the graphic of it on social media, it didn't really explain well what it was. It just had all these dates and their names. And the comments were like, are they just fighting in every city around the world?
I feel like they're like dropping an album. This is like a world tour. It's very hush-hush.
I die. I was laughing to myself, like in bed, cracking up, imagining them just going city to city, beating each other up.
Could you imagine? It would just have to be like one round each. Like there's no way.
Every city like a new winner.
Yeah, I know. They'll just take all the rounds from every city. Like whoever wins. Majority wins.
Yeah, Nate Diaz, like champion of the West Coast.
Yeah, that's awesome. They have it in their bios.
The only rankings is just between the two of them.
Just go back and forth. That's funny.
But because of who they are, I was interested. I didn't even need to know fully the backstory. Like, okay, you're a fighter, you're boxing, you're at it again. I like both of you a lot in the UFC, and I love boxing. You know, if I can give Jake Paul a chance, let's go check this out. He's going to be here in LA, I think at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, where I'm from.
Oh, I will be coming to that, absolutely.
Well, no, we're not coming to that. I was so ready to go to that, but
because it's on the same day.
But then I realized when they announced this stacked card for 302, like, we're not missing that.
302 is going to be crazy good.
Unless we go to the Nate Diaz and like watch this afterwards.
What times are they? Because I want to do both.
I'm so not like a fight watcher backer. Like I love to watch it. I don't know. There's a big difference to me mentally.
No, me too. And I also want to be in the same exact headspace as everybody else around the world who's watching it, because I'm gonna see the memes. It's the only thing that pops up on my feed.
It's so much more fun that way. I know there are people that they're like, I'm working, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. That's not as fun to me. I love to be like
in the moment.
in the moment of it all.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just rather see the clips on social media and know all the big moments.
Which I'm sure is a lot of casual fight fans will just say, oh, this person won. Sick. Cool. Love it. That would be me with any other sport, honestly.
Second by second, checking the Twitter, checking the Instagram, like seeing the people are so quick with their memes.
They are, and I love play-by-plays. I love going on Twitter and just refreshing, like putting one of the names or putting the name like UFC 302 and then seeing what the memes are as the fight is going on.
It makes me feel like a part of it, even though I'm not there, which surprisingly, I have never been to a UFC fight like in person, in the flesh, ever.
Oh my God, we have to pop your cherry.
I know, it's so crazy. When I first started watching, I would be on the road like 3 or 4 days a week, traveling. It just really didn't line up with my lifestyle to like be watching UFC.
Yeah, but I mean, that is very similar. Like wrestling is a gateway into boxing, is a gateway into MMA. So it makes sense that you'd be here right now.
There's a lot of crossover in the demographic, but
Definitely.
I think I was so in the wrestling world that I couldn't physically be like in Las Vegas
Yeah.
to be at the fight.
Well, we have to go. I've been to 2. I saw
How many?
just 1.
You made an imaginary one?
Yeah.
This is a big fight.
Why do I think I've been to 2? I was living vicariously through
Someone else?
somebody else. No, seriously. Well, I don't even remember what that fight was.
Well, you did go out
recently.
with Jamal Hill, not on a date, but I mean like out for the night with your friends.
Yeah. Jamal Hill loves Vegas and went out to Hakkasan.
I thought you were that.
He was, that was the fight I went to. And he was having a very bad night, by the way.
So which fight did you go to in person?
I went to John Jones, his coming back, which was the best thing in the entire world. And you know what? It's unfortunate because you pay so much for seats. And then so you're so nervous at the same time, even though you just paid a bunch for seats. So on one hand, you want the fight to end early because I'm about to pass out from adrenaline and it's John Jones and I want him to win. And on the other hand, I paid a lot of money. Can we be here for all 5 rounds, please?
Yeah.
But he got him with the choke in the first round and I creamed myself.
Yeah, that's your go. You must have been so excited.
So fucking excited. Now I have to see Alex Pereira and then I can die happy. Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody there, I'm sure you can guess, but everybody there is just so filled with fucking testosterone up to their eyeballs that the whole stadium is just heavy breathing and screaming and woo.
Do they stink?
Yes.
Are there sweaty, stinky people?
Yeah, of course there are.
Because there is
Depends on where you sit.
at wrestling shows. There is.
Really?
Yeah.
They really flood the air with air conditioning, though. Thank God. So it's just wafting a bunch of people's smells back and forth. But no, you're so filled with adrenaline, you don't even notice all the weird shit that's going on. Of course, people love to fight in the crowd. It happens every time. Who cares?
Well, beyond 302, we also have 303 to look forward to, which is crazy because it is the return of Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. Super exciting. That's 303, right?
303.
Yeah, so if McGregor loses this fight, that'll be 2 losses in a row. Which would be
what?
this fight and Roadhouse.
Stop.
You liked Roadhouse.
I loved Roadhouse.
No, you're lying. You just like butt cheeks, huh?
No cap. I watched it 3 times.
No way.
In a row, like consecutively, like not back to back to back, but like one day, then the next day, then the next day.
No
It was like my emotional comfort film, and like I haven't had that since like that used to be Twilight. It was my emotional comfort film,
way.
and then it became Roadhouse. It's just like it's not like a good movie per se,
I'm glad we're in agreement that it is not a good movie.
but it's so much fun.
Right.
It's like a classic, like action, like blockbuster, corny, like guy action feel. There's so much fighting, and Post Malone is playing an MMA fighter. You see Conor's butt cheeks. Every scene he's in is just like insane. There's so many fights. Someone dies from a crocodile. Like, it's like
There's a lot going on.
I fucking loved Roadhouse.
Really?
I've never seen the original. Sometimes the older movies, they move at a slow pace for me, and I can't pay attention.
They do. They're usually longer. They know that we have TikTok brain. We have complete brain rot, and we have no attention span. We can't watch long.
Older movies, like my best friend took me to see Top Gun, the new one. Is that what it's called?
The dude with the mustache?
Is that what it's called? The guy flying through the
airplane thing?
there.
Wow, we are really sports bimbos, huh? Yeah.
It takes so long to get to the point. I can't. Like, I have the attention span of a fly.
We need to have like Subway surfers underneath or somebody doing slime ASMR for us to get through it.
I have raging ADHD, verified. Like so bad. I should be on Adderall, whatever.
Should be.
I'm not.
I'm going to take it recreational.
But I do think that is how I am able to be so into fights, because you never know what's going to happen. So I can actually like pay attention, because if you don't, you're going to miss something. So it's like there's so many things going on. I'm like, oh my God, that I can pay attention to. But so anything that's moving slow to get to the point, I'm in outer space, you know.
I'm not present on Earth right now. However, let me give Conor McGregor some props here. He was a better actor than all of the famous award-winning actors in the movie.
He was good. Did you think he was better than Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes! He was horrible! He was so... That's exactly who I was talking about, thank you. He was a horrible actor, and actually, I didn't even finish the movie. I couldn't get through it. I was cringing so bad. Do you get secondhand embarrassment? Yeah. I was getting such bad secondhand embarrassment that I wanted to rip my skin off and just leave it on.
Oh, what's stressing you out?
His acting was so bad. And then Conor McGregor, with his butt cheeks out, he was a really good actor, honestly.
So cool in the Jake Gyllenhaal. I didn't think anything was terrible. I mean, I was just like having a good time. It was just vibes for me.
I feel like if I was just like drunk or something, I'd be like, this is a great movie.
I mean, maybe that's my brain state. I don't drink, but maybe I'm just have that kind of brain.
Yeah.
I didn't have any kind of expectations like this is going to be a
That's
good
probably
movie.
why.
Did you think? Like
I did. I didn't look up reviews first, and I should have, because I would have set my expectations lower. You know, expectations low, hopes high. But I had been seeing so much about it on social media, of course, that I was like, okay, I have to watch it. It must be the best movie on the planet. So that's probably why I didn't love it.
Yeah, I don't think I ever gauged if it was like a good movie or not. I just knew that Conor McGregor was in it and that it was about some UFC stuff. And so, of course, I was like, that's my hyperfixation. So I was like, I want to see this UFC.
Back to McGregor being in 303 at all, we have to talk about him coming back. My opinion, why? You don't need to. You're already a legend. You don't need the money. You don't need the fame. You don't need to further your legacy. You don't need to prove anything. And I'm not complaining. Of course, I'm so fucking excited because I got into UFC right before he retired and I never got into him. Like I said in one of our last podcasts, I thought he was a heavyweight. I didn't know anything about him. I had no idea anything about him. So I'm excited to actually be in the present and get to see him fight because he's pretty much everybody's introduction into the UFC, I feel like.
I am excited that we get a Conor McGregor press conference again.
Oh my God.
It's the peering out of the press conference.
Do you think he's going to be just as entertaining as he used to be? Or maybe he's calmed down because he has a wife and a bunch of kids.
No.
You never know. Like, look at John Jones. He got off. Okay, I won't be rude about it, but he calmed down. You know what I mean?
Do you see his social media? He's not calming. He's unhinged.
Really?
Constantly.
I don't follow him.
He posts crazy stuff all the time where I'm just like, you are nuts, and I love it. It's so entertaining. Like even his caption is gold, A+, 5
just
stars.
Unhinged. He's just hilarious.
He's so funny.
It's the Irish in him.
Yeah, so we get those press conferences again. There's a lot of Conor McGregor press conference moments that live rent-free in my head.
Yes.
I love the Nate Diaz conference, which I've posted on the Sports Bimbo page before, where he's like, they're all on steroids. And then Conor goes, steroids? What are you talking about, steroids? Don't say my name with the name of steroids. I'm major against that. And it's so funny because then now we know him as being so clearly juiced up.
He is geared. Yeah.
So if Nate Diaz wasn't right at the time, he definitely predicted the future.
No, definitely. He needs an apology for that one.
And then it kept seeming like he was going to come back, or it was rumored that he would come back and then he didn't. So like, is he really for sure coming? Like, are we guaranteed like he's for real coming back? Like, can Dana White, like I need to call him on the phone right now.
Right.
Uncle Dana, like, are you for real?
Are you for real? Yeah, it's crazy to believe that. But I remember when it was announced at 300, they had said they'd been in deep talks with McGregor since January. So they'd been talking to him for months about it. Apparently it was very serious. They didn't just spring it on him and say, hey, would you maybe want to fight?
Well, clearly they've been trying to get him back, whatever's happening, and then whatever with the USADA, and then they just threw the whole USADA away.
Is that coincidental? They get rid of the steroid testing, the drug testing
around the time that Conor's coming back. And all the memes were so funny. Like, I can't wait to see how all the fighters look in February when nobody has to test anymore. I don't think I've seen any visible difference. We should try to spot. Actually, you know what? Costume maybe looks a little more.
Look at his traps. Are you kidding?
Shredded.
He is shredded to the max. But most of the fighters,
Who is steroided to the gills?
everybody's fucking steroided to their gills. And you know what? I have nothing against it. And I had this conversation with somebody recently where I said, I would love to see a UFC where there's genuinely just no steroids, no testosterone, nothing, you know, nothing extraneous.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah, nothing extra, and just see like straight up, born as you are, how you fight. And the person I was talking to said that wouldn't be as fun.
And just getting little twinks.
Right. And you know what? He was like, but that's what UFC was. That's what it was supposed to be. And of course, we're never going to be able to clock who's actually on it when they're cycling through, when the testing comes around. So you'll never be able to make sure there's 100% zero steroids involved. And honestly, we should do more steroids. Yeah.
I was going to say, I want to see the one where everyone's juiced up to the fire. One looks like Brock Lesnar.
Right. Where they're going to die tomorrow from steroids. I got to see him fight today.
I don't want to see anyone die, but now I'll look like Incredible Hulk. But then it just becomes WWE wrestling, I guess.
Right, that's what I was saying. That'd be awesome. I would even just like low dose testosterone. You gotta do something. You have to do something. You're in the UFC.
Not you have to do steroids.
You have to. Come on, it's fun. Everybody else is doing it. All the cool kids are on steroids.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm not like really the expert, but I don't know that steroids make you stronger. They just might make you look bigger.
I think a lot of people use it for that, and a lot of people ego lift and do things for aesthetic. But from what I've heard, it helps them regenerate their muscles quicker, so it can help you build muscle faster, which will make you stronger.
That's true. But I have known some like juiced up guys who seem like pretty weak and their cardio's bad.
Absolutely.
It's all just the look.
Oh, yeah. Especially in LA and Vegas, which is where we both live respectively.
Yeah.
There are some gyms, especially in my area, where they are true like influencer gyms. And everybody, including the women, are on steroids. And they all come in with basically just panties on, including the men. And they are ego lifting the entire way. It's all for aesthetics. They all have tripods. There's about 100 tripods in that place at one time. And none of the men specifically want to be strong. They just want to look cool. And they're super weak. And to me, full offense, if you are in the gym as a man just to look good and not have any strength behind it.
I agree. I would rather see a man actually be strong.
You are not a man to me if you are weak.
Look like the Incredible Hulk.
Yes, what is the point?
If you can actually like pick me up, like
toss me out the window.
Do whatever, but you just look normal. Great. Mm-hmm. You don't have to look like.
No, I'm not saying that at all. You don't need to be juiced.
No, what I'm saying is, if I had to choose between a guy who looks like big, huge, burly muscle man, but he can't lift a finger.
You're useless.
I would rather have a guy that just looks like whatever, but he's got the true strength.
He's got the strength. Yeah, you got a sleeper build.
Yes, I would prefer that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. I think strength is so much more important.
Attractive.
It's very attractive. As much as I do love muscles, women are not as much visual creatures. Like, we're not as obsessed with aesthetics as much as men are with women. So I definitely agree.
It's true. Like, for me, my personality and like interests will go much further than...
Much further.
But yeah, I mean, if I could design a man, he would have all those qualities and the muscles and the strength.
Yeah, of course.
Conor McGregor says that his confidence comes from his big ball sack.
Big sack.
What do you think about that? Do you remember when he said that?
I do remember, and there's no way he has a big sack now that he is on steroids. I'm sorry.
No, it's pebbles now. And they call them pebbles when they're on the...
Pebbles.
He probably has little pebbles.
He probably has tiny little pebbles now. But you know what? It's worth it because he looks great, and he'll probably win this fight coming up.
Is there any correlation, do you think, to the size of a man and the size of his ball sack? Because he's not a big man, Conor McGregor. Mm-hmm. You referred to him as a leprechaun before in this podcast.
I'm sorry, Conor McGregor.
Do you think you are a leprechaun? Would a leprechaun have big balls?
So there's two parts to that question. The more important one, do you think leprechauns have big balls?
No! That's going to be our soundbite.
Do leprechauns have big balls? That'd be crazy. I would love that. Imagine they're just dragging on the ground. I have a wiener dog, a dachshund puppy, and the boys, their balls just drag on the ground because they're so low on the ground.
I'm trying to not. He said, my confidence
That's Conor McGregor.
my big ball sack, and I'm just trying to imagine, like, do I believe that he has that?
Well, okay, so let's go back to the first thing you said. Do you think that a man's confidence correlates with his ball sack? Okay. I feel like a man's confidence absolutely relies on his dick size. Unpopular opinion. I know most people would not agree with me on that, but I can absolutely tell by the way a man carries himself if he has BDE or not, big dick energy.
But don't you think a lot of little guys, like micro penis guys, peacock to seem confident?
Yes, but you can tell.
You can tell the difference.
You can so tell, right?
So to you, what is confidence? Is it like walking into the room and seeming very confident, or are they more like laid back and sure of themselves, or are they the guys like, hey, what's up? Look at me.
To me, it's the security. I don't think, like you said, the peacocking, it has never once come off to me as
Real confidence,
real masculinity. That's what I always say about, I'm so sorry, Sean O'Malley, but he's very loud about things. He does love to peacock.
He looks like a peacock.
He looks like a peacock in every way.
Like,
and
that's his spirit animal.
Right, that is. And that gives, not that he's not secure, but on any other man, that would not give security to me. That is not a stoic, masculine man. I feel like a man who is calm and is not emotionally volatile.
So Alex Bejeda. That's what you're describing.
He is the definition of a man. And he is completely secure in himself. Look at, I mean, even just the English thing. He doesn't feel the need to learn English. He doesn't feel the need to learn English.
Not he's so confident he doesn't need to learn English.
No, seriously. No, listen, because you know a lot of fighters get pressured into it because UFC is more of an English-speaking sport. And he's the only fighter I've been like, you don't have to learn a word of English, baby. And he doesn't care to because he has nothing to prove to anybody.
True. And like when I talk about liking the entertaining fighters, he's so good that he doesn't have to try to entertain me. Like, you're killing it.
No, absolutely. I agree.
Your fights are enough. Like,
he doesn't have to talk. He is entertaining as he is. He's a sweet guy whenever he does talk, though.
And now I think he's with Polyana Viana.
Mm-hmm. Is that official?
I think so. I think they hard launched. I think they've been like showing up places together and taking pictures together.
That's what I'm thinking. Either that or the closest friendship ever. But they look so cute together.
So cute. I always thought that she was hot, gorgeous. I remember she went viral for like beating up an attacker of hers. Did you ever see that?
No.
Someone tried to like mug her or something in the streets, and she like beat the fucking ever living shit out of them.
Good for her.
And it went viral because they were like kind of like, this is why you shouldn't attack women because you never know which one is a fucking MMA fighter.
Absolutely, yeah.
I thought that was so badass. I actually think about her every time when I'm like walking alone and I'm like, someone tries to attack me, I just have to Polyana Viana that.
Honestly, that is great advice. You should not just be attacking women because if she had like long sleeves on and like pants, you can't tell that she's muscular because she's pretty little, isn't she?
But it's all about the skill and the knowledge. Like, if you know how to defend yourself, like against a man who's just a scumbag in the streets, that doesn't mean he's a trained fighter. He might not know. He just thinks you're prey because you're a woman.
Yeah.
But if you're a trained fighter, watch out.
She's 5'7" and 115 pounds, so she's pretty small horizontally.
Yeah, she just has the skills.
Alex Pereira and Polyana, I ship it. So freaking cute.
So cute. She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. He deserves happiness.
Would.
You said it. Would.
Speaking of USADA and juicing to the gills, one time I tried performance-enhancing drugs, full disclosure.
No fucking way. When was this?
It was during the pandemic, so I had heard about a lot of things like working in wrestling, and I was like pretty stressed out about all the gyms being closed. So I just thought, I don't know. It's just an idea that I had. And I tried some things. One, I researched a lot. I tried something called cardarine, and it really like makes your cardio so much better. And if you research it, the science of it is there's no side effects. It's just not FDA approved. So it's not that crazy.
It's hard to get FDA approved, to be fair. Do you know exactly what it does?
Yeah, it increases your lung capacity. So you can like breathe in more air. So like I could run faster.
Oh, so that is good for cardio. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow, that is super freaking
I was like running and talking on the phone like to my friends.
No way. This is crazy.
People will use it to like lean out and stuff. So I was like trying to have better cardio because I was like worried about getting too super ultra heavyweight in the pandemic.
super ultra heavyweight, new division, new weight class.
I'm the only fighter in it. It's just me and the
you have the belt.
me and eating.
Yeah.
Me with a stuffed crust pizza.
Oh, that's cute.
Champion.
I'm the champion of this pizza.
Yeah, I fucking own that pizza. Anyway, so that gave me like energy to be confident in performance enhancing drug. That was like my gateway drug. I was like, oh, this is not a big deal, whatever.
That's what everybody says, because a lot of men, they always say health is wealth. Like, I don't need to be on these performance enhancing drugs. I don't need to be on steroids because all the people who go on it end up having really big health complications. But that's not really necessarily true. The people who pass away from it, they are on 17 million high-dose steroids. It's not that big of a deal to me. Maybe we are just West Coast people, so we're desensitized.
My health is really, really important to me.
Me too. We're both very holistic people, but we might still be desensitized to it. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. You should be on low-dose steroids.
It depends. I mean, I wouldn't want to turn into a man, you know?
No, yeah.
But since that like went okay with me, I thought, okay, well, I'll stack it with something else. But this time I didn't research as hard because I felt a little more comfortable. Like, you know, when you're really scared of something for the first time,
yeah,
like Botox, lip filling,
right?
Research it to the ends of the earth, and then you're like, oh, whatever, yeah, give it to me. So yeah, I stacked it with something called Austrian, which is supposed to help you kind of bulk quicker, like put on muscle more. So if you stack it with the Cardarine, you're like supposed to be like shredding and bulking at the same time. So I was like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna have the body of my dreams, whatever. And it does work. Like within a week or two, I saw like a lot more muscle definition.
That fast?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is lit. But then like I noticed like changes that were like scaring me a little bit. And you're only supposed to do like cycles of like a few weeks or whatever. And I was like the horniest person on the planet.
Yeah, that checks out.
And I'm like celibate, so it was like very frustrating.
That is annoying.
I'm incel. I'm my involuntary celibate.
3 rose toys plugged into the wall right now at home.
I would like to have sex, but I'm not into hookup culture, and so it's very hard. And I'm picky, and it's hard to find someone with the right connection. So it's like I'm just not having sex because I prefer to do it in the context of a relationship. But I'm not like I don't want to have sex. I want to.
What you're saying?
I just don't have the right person to do that.
Stella's an incel.
I'm an incel. So that sucks to like be. I was like, oh my god, am I turning into a man? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's really scary. So I went off of it because I'm like, I don't want to turn into a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it does to the men. Like whatever they talk about their penises shrinking or their balls shrinking.
I think it's just their balls from what I've heard.
I believe that because I was feeling like some kind of hormonal change, and it's not a hormone. Like what that specifically is, I don't know.
Right. Anything that's gonna mess with your hormones in your brain.
It's just to increase your muscle mass. But I was turning into like a raging horn dog, and it scared me.
Not a problem. That doesn't sound like a problem to me.
I was scared because I've heard some stories about women's like anatomy growing. Really takes steroids.
I've heard that as well.
But steroids, like what I was doing wasn't steroids. It's something called SARMs, but it's like a steroid. It's like a steroids light, but still, it freaked me out. I was like, no.
Yeah. No, don't need to be doing that.
No.
Oh, I am actually on steroids right now.
Like a topical for eczema or something?
No, I'm on steroids.
What?
I do in my. I'm not kidding.
You're lying.
I take low dose testosterone. No,
what?
Yeah, I am lying. I was inspired by Brock Lesnar. He has my ideal physique. As a woman, I would like to look like Brock Lesnar.
I'm like, this is off-brand for the fairy division.
I did Ozempic, and that's the closest I'll ever get to injecting something, probably.
Dude, I'm a mess. I'm like, I'm very into health, but I'll try anything once.
Delusional.
Except drugs or drinking. I'm like, I'm straight edge. I just only do steroids.
I'm straight edge. I just inject toxins and fillers, and also some steroids, and then Ozempic.
Like maybe I should just drink and do drugs.
Yeah, maybe
instead of all this other crazy shit.
Black tar heroin might be better at this point.
Oh my god. Well, that is it for today. Thank you everyone for listening to the Sports Bimbo podcast, brought to you by the Bespoke Network.
You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, and all our other socials at Sports Bimbo. And please leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. We'll miss you. Bye.